What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Kamen Riders. We are a Kamen Rider review podcast. Today on the show, we're going to talk about Kamen Rider Gavv, episode 41. I'm your host, Josh Meek, the Uber Geek, and I'm joined, as always, by my good friend, Toby Tobes. How's it going over there, Toby?
I'm green souped up. I'm ready to go. I'm like the Green Ranger. I'm so full of green nonsense right now.
Would you say that you are green with envy?
Not yet. I am envious of that beautiful pun. So maybe like we're gonna get there.
You haven't quite.
I'm more like
You have.
like a light green bean, like a light green bean.
Oh,
right
okay.
now. Not like green.
Are you like a Jolly Green Giant type situation? Are you familiar with the Jolly Green Giant?
I am. That'd be fun. I'm also a fan of Sprout.
Oh yeah, Sprout.
His boy. He's proud of his boy.
I'm a boy. Why did the Jolly Green Giant, someone who didn't grow up liking green beans, why did the Jolly Green Giant take up such a large amount of my headspace as a kid?
He was like the veggie commercial when we were young lads.
He was everywhere.
And that's all. And then he was everywhere. And then inevitably we got Sprout because I guess we needed to market to the next generation of kids, or like the big green man telling the kids eat your vegetables wasn't good enough because that's still a parental figure. But when his little buddy Sprout was like, green beans, suck them down, all the kids were like, oh yeah, put them in my mouth.
My problem with Sprout, it's not really a problem. It's thinking back on him now, I'm shocked that Sprout wasn't more of a kid with attitude. Like he was prime right in that era where like everything was Sonic the Hedgehog, right? Everything was like, I'm a cool thing with an attitude, and that's what the kids like. Is like when the little character taps his foot because he's impatient. I'm surprised we didn't get like a Jolly Green Giant but with attitude in Sprout. You think the Jolly Green Giant's just smooth under there? What do you think he's working with? Because he's pretty big, right? He's a giant. And listen, his little leaf situation does not go down very far. All of the regular sized humans are just looking up at pure broccoli. That's all I'm saying. Right? Think about it. I'm just a regular old farmer. I'm just hanging out here and I'm tending my crops. And suddenly the Jolly Green Giant walks across the field and I look up and he's just hanging cash and prizes. I realize I've been talking about the Jolly Green Giant's penis for a while now, and Toby's not even here, so. And you're back?
I think so.
Toby, I realized there was a long period of time where I was talking about the Jolly Green Giant's penis, and you were not even in the call anymore. I was just talking to myself about how well hung the Jolly Green Giant was.
I want you to leave that at the beautiful Google Chrome. Just stop recording.
Sometimes Google is just, it's had a day. Okay, I'm done. I'm not going to do this anymore. But did you have any thoughts on the Jolly Green Giant and his particular brand of genitalia?
Not so much that, but so Sprout came from somewhere.
Yeah.
I think what we really need to get into is who spawned Sprout.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because if his dad's that big and he's that little, I feel like there's a missing genome or gene or something where things just aren't lining up right.
I'm Googling who is Sprout's mom. Do you think that will give us... Apparently there's a My Little Pony named Sprout as well, which is going to make this very confusing of a Google.
Was it like, there's like Sprout Green Giant?
I did, and it still
didn't help?
It's still, somehow the power of the pony overpowered the Jolly Green Giant portion of my query.
I think what you really... So like maybe Sprout came from like when the milkman was there.
Oh, maybe.
And, it's not really Gigi's kid, but he's still kind of there. But B, I bet you if you looked up Rule 34 Green Giant, I'm sure you could find some sort of solution to this problem.
You know what? That's almost like too, to use a pun, that's almost too low-hanging fruit. Like, it's like he's an attractive man. He's scantily clad. Like, we're 3/4 the way there already.
I want you to know that looking up Green Giant on the Rule 34 website does not get me an answer.
What? That is insane.
Wait, no, there is.
Okay.
There's some AI looking drawing that just looks like the Hulk but naked with a human lady. I don't know if that's the answer or not, but it's there.
Oh, maybe the idea is Sprout is half Green Giant, half human.
Ooh.
and that's why he's littler.
That's why he's the one.
Yeah. I never really thought about it before, but you're totally right. When you get the Jolly Green Giant naked, he's just essentially the Hulk, right? That's all he is.
Yeah, he's just like he's like a thinner, ripped Hulk.
Yeah.
Where Hulk is like steroided out, just jacked to
He's
the
lean.
gills.
He's leaner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's because he's vegetables. He's teaching you if you eat your veggies, you get that lean, not protein, but lean muscle mass or something. I don't know.
You know what I want? I want the Jolly Green Giant, no clothes, but still wearing the little moccasins. That's what I want. Keep the shoes on, Jolly Green Giant.
What a fever dream.
I'm looking at the iterations of the Jolly Green Giant through the years, like how his illustrations have changed. And he definitely has gotten more attractive as the time has gone on. He originally in 1928 was his skin color was white originally.
1928.
Yeah.
He's been around for like almost 100. Yeah, almost 100 years.
Yep. And then in 1930 they colored him green. And then in 36 he got like a little bit shinier. His hair became a little bit nicer. He, for some reason in 1960 he had a red cape. And then in 1976 he became the sexy, capeless, attractive man that we know today. He added shoes. He didn't have shoes until 1976. That was the final piece of the puzzle.
That seems like pure DC Comics, Marvel Comics era. If in the 60s he popped a cape on to look like Superman.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Like Golden Age or Silver Age, whichever one was around there.
They might be intending it to be a scarf instead of a cape, but it's blowing in the wind. It looks a little cape-like, but... Yeah, speaking of comics too, the 1976 version, they even like drew it in a way that it looks like it's a Superman comic or something. Like the way the muscles and stuff look.
They knew who they were pandering to.
They did. They certainly did. Well, that's a lot of thirst trapping about the Jolly Green Giant. And what else is going on?
I don't know. I feel dirty already. They said this hasn't been that long of an episode at this point, and I really just feel bad about myself.
We're just hitting the ground running.
All because I had vegetables for dinner. This is what happens.
It is what happens. Yeah, I had Chipotle for dinner, and you know what? Chipotle doesn't have a cool, sexy mascot, unfortunately.
They have botulism or whatever the hell.
That's true.
Do you remember that at some point, Think Geek bought into the large Microbes? This would have been like early to mid O's. One of Think Geek's big things was they had large Microbes. So you could buy like one Common Cold soap dispenser or like plushies and stuff like that. But it's just like, if you looked at the Common Cold under a microscope, they turned that into plushes, and like there all sorts of diseases are on there and stuff.
It was like a cutesy version of the disease, right? Yeah. I remember those.
Yes, so like if there's one for like botulism, that would be the equivalent of what Chipotle's mascot would be.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. Yeah.
Well, even the one that had that. What's the other one?
Chipotle definitely had a health scare. I don't remember exactly what it was. I'll Google it.
Isn't there another big burrito place like that though?
Yeah, there's Chipotle, and then there is, what's the other one called? Qdoba is the other big one around here, at least.
That was always my favorite. I don't remember them ever having an issue. I just felt like, I guess Chipotle had so many problems that just in my mind is registering as like multiple places having food illness things. Yeah, it was just always Chipotle.
Chipotle just had it a lot. Yeah, they had an E. coli outbreak in 2015. That was the problem.
That's what it was. Yeah.
It shut down dozens of their restaurants, sickened more than 50 people. And then federal officials declared the outbreak over in 2016, but the chain shut down every one of its restaurants to retrain employees and allow them to regroup. And then in 2020, they had to pay a $25 million fine to resolve criminal charges that it served tainted food that sickened more than 1,100 people between 2015 and 2018.
Freaking dirtbags. So that business, I guess we'll call it, that I was speaking about, now has their own website where they're just giantmicrobes.com, which is a fantastic name. But I just sent you what the E. coli looks like blown up. And it's basically like an octopus jellyfish looking thing. So that's Chipotle's mascot.
It's less cute than I wanted it to be, though. But it's still cute.
Well, that's the thing, too, where...
You got to work with what it looks like. I mean, really, like, it's all you can do.
Yeah. Because even when in the good old days, when there wasn't a ton of them, like some of the germs or diseases, whatever you want to call it, queued up way better than other ones.
Yeah.
Like one of them looks like kind of like a weird stabby snake. Brain neurons are just look like horror nightmare fuel things, and there's so many options.
They certainly are. They have ones that are like the body now. Like you can get a uterus, and you can get the brain, and you can get a heart, and for some reason you can get a coronavirus, COVID-19. That feels
That's probably when they brought it back. That has to be when
is.
they brought it.
Yeah, that feels too soon still for me. I don't want to bring.
You can get a nice colon on it. You can get a nice colon on a keychain for only like $7.
Indeed. Oh, they also have a COVID-19 vaccine plushie. So
Got him.
They're playing both sides. That's what you do.
What up now, atheists? That'd be funny if if we extrapolate this, this goes horribly dark places. But like, if they gave the plushies to people that all got the vaccines as like, hey, look, I got the vaccine, everyone could like tag each other of like, oh, you still have the germ plush. You don't have the vaccine plush. You're a monster.
You only got half the set.
Yeah.
That's funny. It'd be like McDonald's toys years later. It's like, oh, you got the full collection when the Power Rangers toys were in McDonald's. That's awesome. You went and got all your vaccine boosters. You got the full set.
You can believe that. That leads into our like you have to get a blind box of booster packs.
Yeah, exactly. I want to point out that we talked about Labubu. What are they called?
Labubu.
We talked about Labubu the week before the Yard talked about Labubus as well. So we are the trendsetters in the world of podcasts. We're the ones who are starting the topic du jour of the week, and everyone else is following suit.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's good.
It's another one of those times where like we'll never get our due credit, but it's there. I know we're influencing from deep down the annals of the tokusatsu verse over here.
Yeah, we're in the annals of something. That much I know. Toby, speaking of being in the annals of things, you can be up in our annals in our Patreon. Patreon.com/thecommentwriters is where you can find that. For just $3 a month, you get access to all of the bonus content that we put out. Which, if I might say, if I could work blue a little bit here, Toby, is a shit ton of things at this point. We've put out a lot of content. Every week we put out right now an episode of Goes Yuger that we watch along with, and an episode of Don Brothers. Those are our current shows. But we've watched a lot of stuff in the past, all of Xaid, all of Black Sun, all of Boon Boomjer. There's tons and tons of stuff that you can sign up and watch for just $3 a month. You also get access to our Discord. You can ask us questions. You can chat with us all week long. Super fun place to hang out. And to be honest with you, really the only social media that I spend any time looking at anymore is our personal Discord. So if that tells you how cool of a place it is. So Patreon.
There's 182 pieces of content as of right now.
That's a lot.
As of this recording.
That's a lot. Considering that they're all at least a half an hour long, like at least a TV show episode length.
Yeah, so if not a movie or some other dumb bullshit that we did, or
exactly, yeah. Some are full on movies, some are just pack openings and stuff like that. All kinds of fun stuff. So yeah, check that out. Patreon.com/thecommentwriters, and we would love it if you did. And Toby, I think we should also say that we are a Kamen Rider podcast, and we do talk about Kamen Rider here on the show. And in fact, I would suggest that's what we do right now, this very moment.
Let's do it, because I really want to talk about when the Green Giant showed up. And that's how we learned who Shouma's parents were. Exactly.
We watched Kamen Rider Gavv episode 41 this week. And this is an episode of revelations, I think. We learned some big stuff in this episode. Or we advanced some plots, for sure, I will say. So we'll work through from the beginning here. Of course, the last time around was a big monumental episode where Glotta is killed. She's officially gone. The Stomach family's down one member. And we open our show this week with the remains of the Stomach family, which is really just Nielv, Jeeb, and his new wife, and they are kind of like lamenting the fact that Glotta is gone, I guess.
They're having like a power meeting.
They are.
Because Pidgey's even like, well, we all knew she was a loose cannon, and I told her she was gonna die, so no biggie. I'm cool.
Yeah, I think at one point he's like, she's good, she wasn't Longo good, and they killed Longo, so I kind of thought it was coming. Yeah.
She was kind of fucked from the jump.
And they're figuring out what to do. Nielv was like playing with a toy snake, like a Beanie Baby snake, which I thought was pretty funny. It's such a weird like human thing for him to do, and he seems so just pure evil most of the time.
Yeah, like I don't even understand. Like I don't feel like it's tied to anything else in the episode whatsoever. At some point, I've been like, oh, maybe it's like a little teaser of like, oh, he's a snake, but I didn't really feel like there was any of that presented. It just seems like he happened to find a plush snake on the way to the thing, and that's just what happened.
So I did look it up a little bit to see if there was significance to the snake, and there is. So he was playing with a snake because I guess according to the official Kamen Rider blog, the character of Nielv is based on Jormungandr, which is a snake from the Norse mythology. So all of the stomach family Granute forms are based on Norse mythology characters, and his is a snake, the Jormungandr snake.
So I guess that's nice that they pointed out, or at least leaned into it for the first time, 41 episodes in.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. We've talked about before that the twins, of course, now one of our twins is dead, but the twins are based on the wolves, Skull and Haiti. Glotta is based off the Kraken. So yeah, that they're all of some form coming from the Norse. So that's a fun little Easter egg, I guess, for him to be playing with a snake. But it was just also like a funny character thing for him to be doing.
Yeah, like especially like you said, and if nothing else, it gets people to go, "Hey, why does he have a snake?" And then they look into it.
Yeah.
So it's a teaching moment for everybody.
Interrupting this little family meeting, the president comes in, and he's got a big plan for what to do about this whole stomach family members are getting killed thing. He wants to enslave the Earth and turn it basically into the Matrix. Essentially, he wants the Earth,
a human farm.
Yes, he wants the Earth to just be there, ready to be plucked, ready for humans to be plucked whenever they need them. Just nice, subservient humans, enslaved, ready to be eaten, is what he's looking for in Earth.
It is a hell of a plan, because weeks and weeks ago at this point, we did mention, it's always localized. It's never a global operation. It's, even if we did like top to bottom of Japan, they just always aim for the Kamen Rider areas. So we went from like citywide nonsense to, hey, let's just coat the world.
Yeah.
Let's just grab it all.
Incredible. Especially because I know Longo had a pretty in focus attack on the country where like people really took notice because he took so many people at once. But for the most part, their stuff's pretty under the radar to then just be like, no, we're just gonna take over the whole world. Like, you and what army, dude? like quite literally, you and what army?
I guess to that point, you don't have to worry about, like, it's still kind of under the radar if all of a sudden like the entire radar is just covered.
Yes,
like if we're if phase one, if the only step is, oh, by the way, we just enslaved all of Earth real quick. Like, it's really just the first step you have to do.
Yeah. I guess if your attack, whatever it might be, whether it is this hypnotism we see in this episode or whatever, is so widespread that it just hits everyone at once, then you're just done. You don't have to fight any battles. You don't have to do anything. It's just there for you.
Yeah, flip the switch.
This is such a CEO solution when the president rolls in like this. It's such a C-suite level solution of like, I'm not thinking about the like logistics of anything. I'm just saying a big idea, and now you people have to figure it out.
Yeah, by the end of the day, I want a whole Shopify marketplace set up where we're going to do all of our sales. And it's 1:00 by the end of this meeting, and it better be done by 4, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Get on it. Come on. This is why I pay you the media bucks. So Nielv tells him, of course, this will be pretty difficult. The Granute hunters are still out there. And the president brings in a secret weapon, I guess we'll say.
A corpse.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll skip around a little bit just to finish that little scene because we pick it back up later when Nielv thinks about it. But yeah, basically it's a corpse of a Granute that the president had just been like saving the body because the Granute had a special ability where he could hypnotize people. And the president was like, this might come in handy later. So he's just kept this guy on cold storage, I guess.
Just cut his hands off and you'll be good.
Yeah. And of course, yeah, we find out later what Nielv does with this body. But before we get to that point, we do cut over and we find out what Shouma is up to. And Shouma's at his little snack cafe, his favorite little snack cafe where his buddy is the owner. And they're having some nice chit chat. And we find out that the owner had a little sister who was also a big snack head. And
so this was one of, it's rare, but it's happened a bunch for this season, where usually I live take notes as I'm watching the episode. And it's one of the times where, because I'm just talking to myself, there's no like good feeling robust payoff. But right away, like after he said it and made the comment about the snack thing, I just wrote down like, is the owner related to Shouma?
Yeah.
And then they vaguely, I guess a little more than vaguely, but they pay that off at the end. And it's just one of those not frustrating, but one of those frustrating things where, oh, I thought I cracked the case, and then there's no one to tell while I'm watching it. And then there's 5 minutes later, like, oh yeah, you cracked it. Good job, man.
Yeah. As soon as they said sister, I was like, oh, okay. I see where this is going now. Suddenly, this
not
is
a ton
all...
of options, but I got there.
Yep. So yeah, then Shouma heads home, but on his way home, he sees people acting strangely. And then there's a hooded figure that he sees watching the strange people. So obviously he tells Sachika that this is happening, and she's like, you know what, I've seen it too. So we're looking at an epidemic of people doing weird stuff. Things like going down a slide over and over again, stroking their mailbox, things like that. Just like weird, repetitive tasks.
It's one of the days where I wish I could have been like an extra on the, like I could act and pretend like I'm trying to open my car door, and then look dejected and walk away, and then just turn back around, try to open the car door again over and over.
Yep.
So if there's ever a time for one of us to shine as actors, like today would have been the day.
I agree. Yeah, I'm cut out for doing the same thing over and over again with a dead stare on my face. Welcome to life. I'm ready for it. We also later on we get to see Rakia also encounters one of these people. He's out picking up some rocks that he's eating, in the nice like riverside rocks, and there's a fisherman behind him who also is attempting to eat rocks.
He's like, no, those are my rocks. Get off them.
Yep. So that's to the point where Shouma is also out kind of investigating things and sees this happen. They check that the rock eater is not a Granute. He's not. And then that's when they encounter the hooded figure. And yeah, I guess without dancing around it too much, we'll pick back up with the Hanto thread here in a second. But the hooded figure that we end up encountering is none other than kind of Suga.
It's zombie Suga with hypnotism hands.
Yeah, exactly. So the backstory that they explain here is kind of a crazy one, and like is very funny because I was watching the show and then I paused the show and had to explain what was happening in it to someone else, and the explanation just sounds insane. It's like, well, this one guy had died, but this other guy had stored his body for a while, or it kind of kept him like barely alive. Then decided to experiment on him by chopping him in half and putting him on the body of this other guy who died to give him special powers. But then he died in the middle of it, so now he's like a zombie. It's like kind of a crazy explanation for a show that's aimed at kids to some extent. But
this is definitely one of the few times for this show specifically where this reveal is just like the craziest dumb bullshit out of nowhere for no reason.
Yeah.
Like there was really no reason to do this at all, other than I guess to put Suga's actor back in the show for a little bit at the ending here to wrap things up.
Yeah, because it's not like we're really gonna get Suga back. This is just a husk of a character, and I don't think they're gonna do any swerve where it's like, oh no, Suga's still in there or anything like that. Like it seems like he's full on actually a zombie permanently. So yeah, it's just like a shocking, like, oh my gosh, look at the extent that Nielv would go to do these horrible experiments on someone.
Yeah, we're reanimating corpses now.
Yeah, true. It really is. Like Nielv is the kind of stone cold killer. The whole show. Like this is kind of a crazy thing that he does, just like sewing corpses together, and the nonchalant way with which he explains, like, oh, he died during the process, but it worked out great because now he's this obedient zombie, is unsettling.
We found quite this perk during my murder on the operating table.
Yeah. And when the hood is revealed and we get to see Suga and they do like the pan and you see his hand, which is like Granute hand and stuff, it's like, yeah, it's pretty great. And Suga's actor, of course, is fantastic at this. So he even plays a really good like blank stare zombie. So,
oh yeah, like
somehow he sells that really well.
There's just enough, I guess we'll call it like whitening or paling makeup or whatever.
Yeah.
Where he actually looks like a corpse. And like you said, he already has the wacky bushy hair that looks all disheveled and stuff. And just the dead stare that he can do through the big glasses. It's just like he is like the perfect actor to do his own dead zombie version of himself.
He really is, yeah. And we even get to see, so in this fight, of course, we have a fight with the zombie Suga. Zombie Suga can henshin. So Nielv puts a bitter cookie gochizo in the Gavv of zombie Suga. And he says the word henshin, so he can henshin, and he becomes, I think, bitter cookie is what they call him. So he's like another version of that cookie-based Kamen Rider that he's been before. And we have our little fight. And but in the midst of this fight, we also have a bit of some action with Nielv. We hadn't seen him really get involved in any fighting so far. And we find out that he has like poison spit, sort of. Is that how you would describe that?
Yeah, it seems like it. And it looks like it's just like a nice yellow goo. But somehow he like spits on the ground, but spits in his own face. And he like licks off the spit off his glasses in a weird way. And
yeah.
He's just a weird dude.
Yeah,
he's just a weird dude.
And, having poison spit really plays to being a snake, right? Like having your venom.
I guess that lines up. You know what? Even without you looking up the dumb mythology thing, I guess that would have been the payoff for the snake thing.
Yeah.
that now that you're saying it would check out for why he was snaking it up earlier.
Yeah, we probably should have realized for sure. But I thought that was cool. I hadn't really considered the fact that Nielv was going to be like potentially in battle or like, fighting a little bit on his own. I'd mostly considered him like scientist up until now, but it's cool they're giving him like abilities and he can actually like endanger the Kamen Riders personally. I think
they have to. There's almost no one left anymore.
Exactly. I mean, he's over here making zombies just so he can stay in the fight. So yeah. And of course, Suga is a hypnotizing figure now at this point. This new zombie Suga. So who gets hypnotized? Of course, none other than Hanto himself.
I was trying to think about why Hanto was the one that got bullied again. I guess because he's actually human would be the answer.
Yep.
Like the other two are too not human for that to be a thing. But my takeaway of that was I feel like we've had Hanto hating all of them too many times this season, and having this be the weird arc-ish or of sorts, or like the next episode or two problem, it just seems extra or dumb because we've done it so many times already.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think the fact that Hanto, by the nature of the story, started out at odds with the Granutes and then now is not, to like have a storyline that just rehashes that because he got hypnotized is kind of a bummer. It's also kind of a bummer. Like I get how we got to these points, but like the fact that he just always kind of has to be the human punching bag on the team because he's the human is also like getting to be kind of annoying. But yeah, I mean, like just the world that they've built up, he's got to be the one who gets hypnotized here. But yeah, we'll see how long the spell lasts, whether it's like a, Shouma breaks him out of it instantly next episode, or if this is a problem that we have to deal with for an episode or two.
I'm sure it can't be long because again, we know we're towards the end here, so it is kind of dumb. We're gonna do the Dark Rider thing again. We're thinking back on Geets and Gotchard, where like someone's extra cranky for a couple episodes,
Yeah,
and I feel like for Geets, Keiwa's dark side part was really close to the end too.
it was.
And it's kind of like came and went.
Yep.
And this is pretty much lined up to do that exact thing all over again.
Yeah, that's true. Pretty much the same spot of the series. Yeah, kind of serving the same role. Just like keep the hero busy for a little bit. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe it'll work out cool where Hanto is like super powerful all of a sudden because of it or something. Like maybe he gets the upper hand for one.
He didn't get a final form yet, did he? He didn't get like his last.
He's got like the special frappe form. That's like all he's got.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if that counts as his like final form or not though. But it
Maybe
is
he'll
it
get
is like
one
the
more.
boosted up version of his base frap.
Base frap.
And then of course Hanto leading up to that battle is up to his own nonsense throughout this episode, and it's our other big main revelation. Of course, Hanto has been on the search for Shouma's mother and finding the rest of her family. And he had been looking for this one guy for a couple episodes. He'd been to the apartment before and couldn't find him. So finally, he goes to the apartment again, and one of the neighbors is like, oh, he'll be at the shop, of course, right now. And then, lo and behold...
We go, ooh, what shop?
It is the sweets shop, Shouma's sweets shop that he goes to. And of course, Hanto knows this guy because he ran into him an episode or two ago with Shouma. So that they had to have that little meet cute scene so that way Hanto could tie them all together. And yeah, come to find out, the sister of the shop owner disappeared like 20 years ago. She was a big fan of kind of sweets of all kinds, just like Shouma, and disappeared without warning. And they've had like no trace of her for like 20 years. And the guy's kind of like, when Hanto like talks about the fact that like, oh, I was looking into her disappearance, the shop owner is sort of like desperate for information. Like, oh my God, please tell me anything about my sister.
I hope they reverse swerve it and it's actually not Shouma's mom.
Well, they do show the picture though, and it is her.
Yeah, I forgot what she looked like. I just thought the picture was a nice looking lady.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly that the picture they show, obviously she looks young compared to kind of where we've seen her in a couple other spots, but I think it's the same woman that we've seen in the flashbacks with Shouma when he's like trying to protect her and when she ends up like dying. Yeah.
One of the old points that we made, if the show's ending on Shouma finds family but also has his friend's family, it does seem perfect that his other uncle is a candy maker at his favorite candy shop.
Totally. Yeah, like he's got like the angel on one side, devil on the other. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, kind of perfect that he like befriended his uncle who runs a sweet shop, and it's the wonderful human equivalent of his mom, who's no longer with us, and yeah, stark contrast to the horrible monsters that were the rest of his family. Which also like, the mom stuff again is like kind of dark, right? Because like I'll be interested to find out if we find out more about how she ended up with them with the stomachs, because I think all we know so far, it seems like it's like she got abducted, right? Like she got taken and kind of held captive to like to be his bride, right? Like I don't think it was something that she wanted to do from the beginning.
Now that I think about it, not so much with that part, but like the fact that his mom loves sweets, I was gonna say makes sense, but it doesn't, because she wasn't the granute, so she should just like food. Like the dad would be the one that eats the candy to make the cheeses and stuff.
Unless it was like that's how she met the granute or something like that. Like who knows? Like that could have been.
That's how Shouma gets his power, because his mom loves sweets. It reminds his tummy of his mom. and gets all happy on the inside.
Yeah, even though he's half human, the human is also mostly sweet monster. Hanto's in kind of a between kind of a rock and a hard place here now, though, Toby, because he has this information, but Shouma didn't really want him to be seeking this information out to begin with, and now really it's only a matter of time until the sweets owner mentions to Shouma that he met Hanto and he was asking him questions. So I think like this is all gonna fall apart pretty soon for Hanto.
See, when it was just normal human Hanto, I thought it'd be a weird gap of like, oh, I don't know what to do. This is my weird like morality decision, blah blah blah. But now that they made Hanto possessed dick, I feel like since he has the information, like I think the next episode is just going to be him like just blowing up that spot.
Ooh,
being like,
I can see that.
Yeah, you know, this is your mom's brother or something along those lines. But I feel like that's the main reason that he's evil now, was because he was having the moral issue of who do I tell what to, and now it's easier to come out if you're going to be a jerk.
Yeah, I hadn't even considered that could play in here. That would make a lot of sense from a story plotting perspective. Yeah, that checks out. I was just kind of picturing him being hypnotized and evil in Kamen Rider form, and not really so much what he would do if he was not in Kamen Rider form. But I could see him revealing this information in a hurtful way or something, right?
Yeah, like I'm forced to assume it's not like I'm forced to assume he's gonna be like full possessed and not just like baby possessed.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think weirdly one of the other things that the shop owner says about his sister is that she loved snacks and desserts and stuff so much that she joined a snack club in college. What is a snack club? What do? Do you just get together and eat snacks?
Well, come on, you just get together. Everyone brings their favorite snacks and you eat them.
Oh, so it's like a joining of snacks, a sharing of snack culture, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. And then of course that's where she met Shouma's dad, because he, as a candy eater, would also like a snack club.
Yeah.
And they fell madly in love over a nice piece of Pocky. And then little Shouma was born.
Did you know, Toby, I watched a YouTube short today. Did you know that in Japan, all packaging of like food and snacks and stuff, if they show it on the package, it has to be actual size. Like they can't enlarge it to show texture like we do here.
I feel like Europe as a whole does that too.
That might be true. Yeah.
Like, I mean, basically the only place that like enjoys getting lied to for the hell of it is America.
Yeah.
We just do whatever.
I guess, yeah, for the reverse of it, if you're out there and you're like, well, yeah, why wouldn't it be like that? Here in the United States, they'll sell like a cereal box that has like a giant Cheerio on the front of it. And they usually will like put the text that says like enlarged to show texture. But really, they just want you to think it's that big. Like they want you to think that they're giving you something more than you're actually getting. But it's super common to have packaging show stuff like way, way bigger than it actually is in the box, which has always been insane.
It is a crazy nightmare.
Truly is, yeah. I think there's also like you can't show like fruit in some way in Japan on packaging unless it actually contains like a fruit juice in some way. Like it has to actually be fruit for it to show fruit. I think that's part of their rules and regulations too.
So if the fruit, I Googled it while you were talking about this. If the item is 100% fruit juice, it can have a realistic cut fruit on the label. So you can see like the juice inside the fruit.
Okay, yeah.
If it's 95%, you can show the fruit, but you can't show the fruit opened, revealing what's inside. So like if we're having like 100% orange juice in Japan, you could have the orange sliced in half and like the delicious trickle coming out. But if it's like 95% fruit juice, you just have to have the orange itself.
That's so funny that there's like we are going to proudly present our cut open fruit because we're 100% fruit juice. Like it's like a badge of honor.
So it's hilarious. Like one of the first pictures that comes up is actually two boxes right next to each other, and it's actually an orange juice thing. And so, like, literally what I said, like, the 100% one is the orange cut in half with, like, orange juice dripping. And then the orange blend drink is just orange with some, like, glistening on it.
That's awesome. Well, there you go. So now if you're ever in Japan, you can get yourself some authentic snacks that are the exact size that you expect them to be. And you can thank the comment writers for that.
That's why Kamen Rider Game isn't cut in half, because he's not 100% fruit juice.
That's true. It's all coming together. Although he does do a lot.
I even actually tied it back to the show. That feels good.
He does do a lot of cutting fruit in half, though, I'm pretty sure. He's got those swords
He's
and
allowed
stuff.
to.
Yeah.
But he's not cut in half because he has blood inside him.
Perfect.
That's not 100% natural.
It's not. Toby, any more thoughts about episode 41 here? We got some new threads that we can pull on for the next couple episodes, which is exciting.
The sugar thing is kind of crazy and funny. I think it was in our Discord that we were talking about, we're trying to guess everyone's ages towards the beginning. And we all thought Sugo was young, but he's super old. I think that's what it was.
Yep.
And when he wasn't a zombie, we thought he was a kid. But looking at him today with, like, again, the paled face and the crazy hair and shit, he looks like an actual adult, like an old man adult. And I actually thought that was hilarious. Like, that was a hilarious twist. Kind of disappointed that the next arc again is going to be Hanto hates everybody, which I think is kind of stupid.
Yeah.
The one scene in general that you didn't talk about that made me laugh was when what's the twins' name? I'm drawing a blank.
Jeep.
Yeah, when Jeep was talking to the wife, he was all mopey, and she's like, "Oh, why don't you transform into your sister again?" And he was like, "No, I don't want to. That's not right, or I don't want to see her like this." Or something.
He doesn't want to see her with the black Gavv specifically.
He's like, he's like, I want to have my pure memory. I don't want to see that reflection. And the wife is so concerned, or like doing the weird angle that's still kind of really hard to pick up on, and just like kind of fucking with him, where she was like, "Oh, you just don't feel good. Let me scrub your Gavv for you." And she pulls out like a toothbrush and starts scrubbing his stomach. And they kind of fade away from it. I thought that was oddly sexual.
Yeah, it was weirdly. Yeah, especially because, like, you're supposed to.
It's granute foreplay.
It really is. Yeah, let me brush your weird teeth. Because we're also, like, you're always supposed to assume that all the drivers and everything are made out of metal, even though they're clearly made out of plastic. And when she started brushing it, you hear like metal noises too, which is especially funny because it's like, you know, brushing a plastic thing that's supposed to be a mouth, but it sounds like metal. And then somehow it's all this weird foreplay. Yeah, I haven't 100% figured Lyselle out and what her whole vibe is with Jeev, other than she just like really enjoys the suffering, I think. Like I think like whatever it is that she's into, it's like she just needs him to like always kind of be a sore kicked puppy, and that's what she likes the most.
Yeah, it's not like they've done anything. Like, I don't feel like they've done anything extraneous where you go, "Oh, she's wearing him down because she secretly said, oh, when he's at his weakest, I can take him over. Then the stomach family is ours." Like, you can vaguely infer that, but there's really nothing pointing out what she's actually doing.
Yeah.
Other than she just wanted to like get into the family so her dad could get into the family. But she's not doing anything like excessive with him. She's just kind of like enabling his mopey ass and being like, "Oh, your fun broken. Here, gussy yourself up. Your stomach mouth is dirty. Brush it."
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like what she did led to the family takeover, but I don't even think that was maybe her goal. I think it was maybe just her dad saw an opportunity. Like, I think she just like really likes having a weird mopey puppy and doesn't want him to, you know, ever come out of that. That's what she's into.
Yeah, because even in the beginning of what we'll call their meeting, it was really just she found him broken with his little sister's toy figure of like, maybe the wife wants the little figure that makes him turn into his dead sister or something. But there was never anything like crazy with that, even of, "Oh, I found him because of this." It was just, I found this broken toy And then we find out like her dad was important, but they didn't like play it up before that point. So
Yeah.
it's a weird gap right now.
Yeah. And like maybe she's just weirdly evil. Like maybe there's no like secret ulterior motive, but like maybe that's just what she's into. But yeah, it makes her hard to read for sure. All right. Well, let's keep talking Kamen Rider here, but let's jump over and check out our emails. We do have an email address, which is cast@commonwritersucks.com. That is cast@commonwritersucks.com is the email address if you want to send us any emails. We'd love to have them. You can talk about the show. You can talk about whatever you want. We will most likely read it on the show unless it is super insane. Our first email this week comes in from Jordan. Jordan has written in to give us information about various shows in the past. And today, Jordan writes in about Don Brothers, Toby.
Hey, we're watching that.
We are watching that on our Patreon, patreon.com/thecommentwriters. We are just a few episodes into Don Brothers so far. And Jordan says, something interesting to note about the giant robot for this season, Don Zinkaio. It, along with Don Momotaro, debuted near the end of the previous season, Kikai Sentai Zenkaiger. It is a combination between Don Momo's bike, the Inuridon, and the red Zenkaiger's Zenkai Zuron, his mecha form, Zurion Tyranno.
I always like when people make you say words.
I know, it's awful. Next, that mini form for Don Momo is his alter form. Once engaged, the Don Momotaro alter can change between a humanoid form resembling Don Momotaro for active combat or an armored peach form in defensive situations. The Don Momotaro alter is also capable of bouncing off of digital constructs and making use of portals and hidden doorways in combat, assisted by its own sword. Although the Don Momotaro alter is effective in combat, its usage has the side effect of leaving Don Momotaro's real body limp and vulnerable to attack, often forcing his teammates to carry it around while keeping it from coming to harm. So a real Weekend at Bernie situation there. The Don Momotaro alter can also be used when Don Momotaro is untransformed, though that usually means that his real body tends to be left limp without his soul. He can also use it when transformed into a previous Red Ranger. He can also enhance this form's abilities by combining with different Sentai alters, such as the Tokuger alter in episode 3. Finally, we have Kiji Brother. I don't know if you've noticed, but Kiji Brother is the only male Pink Ranger in all of Sentai. Granted, in Tokuger, the guys could become pink when they switch trains, but Kiji is the only male to have pink as his primary color. And to close out, the Hitotsuki from episode 3 is called Kaitoki. After the 42nd season, Kaito is Sentai Lupin Ranger. I we maybe have seen it before, but I hadn't really like thought about it. But I didn't realize that he could go into his Don Momotaro alter form when he wasn't henshined. So
yeah, I don't know if that we just, well, especially because we're talking over a lot of it too.
Yeah, it's hard to remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love the idea that he could just be like sitting there hanging out and then just kind of like go limp and send out his little buddy. That's a real skill to have right there.
It sounds like it. The only thing I really have to add to that is we got Peaches the other day, and all I could think of was stupid Don Brothers.
See, I would appreciate having Don Brothers as my Peaches reference, because for me it's still Peaches, 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 Peaches. When I see Peaches, I can't get that out of my head. So
that's sad.
I know.
That's broken.
It is sad.
That's very broken.
We have one more email to talk about. This one comes in from our friend Shade. Shade says he's back? ? Of course, we all know now, referring to Suga.
I thought Shade was just talking about himself.
Guess who's back? Back again. Shade is back. Tell a friend. Shade says, hello, everybody, and welcome back to our weekly dose of young adults in spandex fighting the forces of evil. We don't have any news this week, but I got to warn you guys that some leaks and rough sketches of the next Kamen Rider are out there somewhere now, so be careful if you don't want to be spoiled. Ooh.
So usually when I try not to be spoiled, that's when I get spoiled the most.
Uh-huh.
So I'm expecting to just see what's happening soon.
Yeah, I haven't. I don't go out seeking these types of spoilers super often, but I'm shocked that I haven't come across them yet. Because usually those are like Usually those are on my desk. Like I asked for pictures of Spider-Man, and I'm J. Jonah Jameson. You know what I mean? Like those just show up for me. So I'm shocked I haven't seen them yet.
So like my problem is I'll be having a conversation about something I like with somebody, and then I'll try to Google. I'll just want information, and I won't want anything specific. But I'll just want information, and then by trying to find the basic information, there'll always be like a little paragraph or a quote or like, oh, and by the way, this is the ending of the game you're playing, and it just happens to me all the time.
Yep.
Like even like as hard as I try not to do it, I actively go out of my way to not ruin things for myself, and that somehow just ruins things for me.
I very specifically have been not ruining Riverdale's stuff for me. I like to look up what people think about the show as I'm watching through it. But I always look up the Reddit discussion thread for that specific episode, and I look at nothing else on Reddit about Riverdale. I will Google for that thread and click on it for that episode that I'm currently watching, and then I will close everything out so I don't look at anything else about the show on Reddit. Because I'm the same way where like casual looking up of what you're taking in can easily spoil things for you nowadays.
So like my most recent example was the other day. I was having a conversation about how old Majima is in Pirate Yakuza, of like trying to figure out timelines of all my favorite adults. So I was scrolling through like the list of all the games, and it's like, oh, and this one he was 40, and this was the plot. And then from looking at that, it was like, oh, he's probably, I think, like 60 years old in Pirate Yakuza. And by the way, here's the literal last scene ending of the game. I hope you enjoy this. And I was so fucking pissed off at myself because I avoided all spoilers the entire time. I was super close to the end by myself. And then just like legit from trying to look up his age, I found the ending of the game in the line after his age. And that seems absurd to me that happens to me.
That does. Yeah. I feel like stuff like that's only getting worse now with the like Google AI being the top result for anything you Google. I feel like that stuff's going to be even more prevalent of like, oh, you want to learn about this thing? Well, let me tell you the first result that I found, which is like, here's the ending. Like, I think it's just going to continue to get worse. Toei Shade goes on and says, let's head straight to the producer's blog. Some of the tidbits from the producer's blog for this episode. First off, the blog talks about the title of the episode, The Glasses Creeping Closer, or however the subs you guys watch translated it. Gavv's producer revealed a couple titles for the episodes before they landed on the official one. So here are alternate titles for this episode. The Approaching Poison Fangs, which is interesting.
That makes sense with the snake.
Yep. The Strange Black Cloak Man / Strange Cookie Man. All right. That's pretty on the nose. The Break Before the Storm, and the last one is Yearning Marble.
Okay, that one doesn't make sense. The Break Before the Storm is pretty good too.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
If this is like downtime until like if we're gonna call the ending of we're gonna call like the last arc of the show, like the final storm kind of thing, that works.
Yeah. They decided to not go with the Poison Fangs one because, of course, it refers to Nielv, and the audience would have known that they were referring to Nielv before the episode. Number 2 was a Showa era style title. That's the Strange Black Cloak Man one. The first Kamen Rider episode was called The Mysterious Spider-Man, which is funny. And then number 3 and 4, so The Break Before the Storm and Yearning Marble, were plays on the name of the Nugo Chizo, which is Marble Break Cookie. So that's where the marble comes from.
Oh, okay.
They decided on the official title we see now because they figured that glasses represented both Nielv and Suga. In this episode, there's a strange old guy that was trying to eat all of Rakia's rocks. Well, he's no stranger to Rakia because they've met before. His name is Muraoki Hiroyuki. He was a suit actor for a dozen monsters for Kira Major. So that's the Sentai that Rakia's character's actor was in the main cast. And when they met again, I guess the actor said, huh? Hasn't he become more handsome again? During the filming, the script for this scene, he only had one line, so he ended up ad-libbing a bunch of moments that made it into the show. That's cool. The scene where he was taken to the dentist was filmed in the morning, but his voice carries really well, is what the blog said. So he was screaming in the morning, apparently. His ad-libbed screams echoed throughout the studio. Then the blog talks about Suga's actor making a comeback. However, according to the blog, the role he plays is no longer Suga. So it's safe to say that isn't Suga anymore, just his lifeless, reanimated body, Shade says. And then there's some good pictures of him with his fake granute hand, which is pretty funny. The blog says his actor's movement is restricted because of his new arm, so Nielv's actor had to help him out a bunch, like hand things to him and pull his gloves on and stuff, which is great. In this episode, they revealed that Nielv's special ability is poison, but unlike Rocky's poison, Nielv's poison functions much more like acid. Continuing the stomach's Norse mythology aesthetics, Nielv's granute form is based on Jormungandr, a.k.a. the giant Midgard/world serpent.
I think the world serpent was in the... I know it's been in video games, more specifically. I'm 99% sure that was some part of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. That sounds... Oh, no. World serpent is God of War.
You're correct, because that's what Shade says next.
I was trying to think about it, because I think the end of one of the ones with Son of War, you kill the world serpent at the end, and it's one of the crazy, like, gory, look, we ripped the snake's jaws open backwards kind of things.
Nice.
But I knew there was definitely some game I played where I murdered the giant snake. And I think I remember, like, running around on it too.
There you go. God of War. Also during this part, they also plugged the summer movie in a really weird way. So this is from the producer's blog, quote, "Now that both Suga and Dinty are dead, Nielv is the only scientist left in Gavv until a new scientist joins the world of Kamen Rider Gavv in the new summer movie. Be sure to watch Kamen Rider Gavv Invaders of the House of Snacks on Friday, July 25th to see him in action." So that's pretty great. Then some more photos of the team. The blog mentions that this is the first group transformation with all three of the Kamen Riders. That's hard to believe that that's the first one.
Yeah, definitely. It seems like it would have happened, but when they all did it together, that whole sequence of events, one of the most, like, brain awakening, everything popping off, firing, all the things screaming at each other, just a wild vibe.
Yeah. And then, of course, in this episode, Suga's reanimated body transforms into Bitter Gavv marble break cookie form. A couple fun facts about the form. Number one, if you notice, this Bitter Gavv uses the Bake Magnum with his right hand, the gun with his right hand, while Suga is left-handed and used the gun with his left hand. It's a small detail that indicates that Suga is no longer in control anymore. And number two, the Gochizo for this form is incredibly interesting if you understand what a marble cookie is. A marble cookie is basically a cookie made with two types of dough smushed together. So that's exactly what Suga is now. He's a human smushed with a granute, so that works out.
There you go.
Yeah. That is actually really, really great. Then at the end, the person who wrote the blog talks about Gochizo photography, which are some of the methods they use to photograph Gochizos for the blog. And they show some examples of, like, using a tiny little cut straw to prop the Gochizo up so it looks like it's standing on its own. Stuff like that, which is pretty funny. Shade says, anyway, that's it for my email section today. A small reminder that Ultraman Omega will be premiering on July 5th. That's very soon. So please do check it out and support the show if you can. Ultraman Omega. And yeah, their Ultraman stuff's usually pretty good because it comes out on YouTube and usually comes out translated. It's all ready to go. They're much better at it than Toei is.
We can all watch the thing, and for that, we all win.
Yeah. All right. So Jordan, Shade, thanks very much for the emails this week. Once again, if you want to send us in an email, the email address is cast@KamenRiderSucks.com. All right. What a show, Toby. What a show.
What a show.
Why don't you tell the people where they can find you on the internet?
On Twitter, it's Life of Tobes. On YouTube, it's Tobes Plays. And on Retro Achievements, it's Tobes Plays as well.
And for me, you can find me, of course, in our Discord, patreon.com/thecommentwriters. You can find me on Blue Sky, bluesky.com. No, that's not what it is. Whatever the Blue Sky URL is, I am at meek.lol over there. And of course, follow the show on Blue Sky as well. It is at commonwritersucks.com. So that is going to do it for us for this week. Check out the Patreon, subscribe to the podcast and all of your favorite podcast listening devices. That for sure helps us out. And join us back next time. We'll talk about episode 42. But in the meantime, we hope you have a great week. Peace.